we are
excited.
excited about the elaboration room.
I am excited about this.
Welcome to the Elaboration Room with Reverend Yo and Reverend Harris.
Then you have your communication with your children. And that right there I've learned is that's a little bit different. Because as they grow and their lives grow, they change. And they tend to communicate a little bit less as they get a little bit older. I don't know what you guys' thoughts are on that, but that's what I have noticed.
It is because when in education we teach kids communication is verbal, communication can be nonverbal, it can be written, it can be visual, it can be just listening. It's different forms of communication that I've done over the years, and even now as an adult, because verbal communication, to me, as I'm talking to you face to face, we're having a conversation, or I'm talking to you on the phone. Even when I stand to preach, that is a verbal communication to me. And in meetings, all that's verbal type of communication. But there's also that nonverbal when someone is talking, it's that eye contact or lack of. Because when you're talking to someone and they're not looking at you, or their eyes is going everywhere, and this is just me, they're no longer focused or hearing what I'm saying. Or they're sitting there with their arms crossed, or they're giving those defensive signals, smiling or frowning. So those are the nonverbals that people read in communication. And as we know, a tone of voice can change a whole part of nonverbal communication, even without saying a word. So I think when we're getting into this communication, we have to be open to all types of communication, because when you misunderstand a person talking, like I said, it just fills your brain with a bunch of assumptions, and then you become emotional, and then you begin to shut down, or you think somebody don't like you, or you feel dismissed or unimportant or rejected because of the lack of communication. So it moves into those things. One of the communications that we have today that I believe is the number one miss um, ways to communicate is by emails and text messages.
I was sitting over here
Well, I'll
waiting
say the
for an
same thing.
end, because that's what I wanted to say. That is the elephant in the room.
Yes, it
Because
is.
everything you just said that goes along with good communication is being able to have that eye to eye contact, or that person is looking away, or the nonverbal cues and the tones in the voice. Because send me an email and I put sounds to it, and
But
it can go left.
yeah, because that's your interpretation
That's
of the
right.
email you received, but that's not necessarily how the person sent it.
And that is true. And
That's
that's
why,
where we have failed.
yeah, that's why I prefer to call someone, pick up the phone and call someone, especially if I know an email or a text can be kind of in depth. I'd rather pick up the phone and call somebody, because the tone of my voice can change how something is accepted, other than me just sending it through text message. So
Yes.
that's the lack of communication that we're dealing with in this society right now. Everybody texts everything. Nobody picks up the phone and call you anymore. Everything is a text message, and too many words in a text message can be misunderstood. And our generation, not our generation, but the generation under us now, everything is about text, and people don't even spell words anymore. They use emojis, or have abbreviated letters, or just one letter. And I can't even understand some of these um words that they use now, because I'm sitting here trying to figure it out, and I'm slow, because I see things and I be like, what is IYK? What is POV? I'm like, I'm old because I'm not understanding the
Well, we
form
didn't grow
of
up with it.
communication
We
that's
didn't
here
grow
now.
we didn't grow up with that.
Oh no.
we didn't grow up with that. I'm 63. I tell my age. I'm 63. The cell phone didn't come out until what, 1990, 94, 95, 93, somewhere around there. And then the ability to text them was probably a little bit later because the first thing you had was the beepers,
Yeah.
where you would get the beeper and then you go and call somebody back. You wasn't able to respond back via the beeper. You'll pick up the phone and you call them. Then the smartphones came out, and then they opened up the ability to text. And that's where everything, in my opinion, as far as our communications with our younger people, have went downhill from there.
Yeah. I think in our generation, I'm not too much younger than you. I'm younger though, but not too much. I'm 55 and proud to be double nickels. But I think in the generation that we were in, we communicated more face to face. We met outside. We played together, talked together, went out together. It was more of a communication of face to face.
That's
Yeah.
right.
It's no longer that. Many people, if you don't live in the same house with somebody, you probably rarely physically talk to people unless like you're at church or at work. Other than that, it's like people are scared to talk to people now.
And under this, people in the same house that still text to each other.
Well, don't judge me.
Oh, I didn't say you.
Don't judge me. I'm upstairs. I don't want to walk downstairs, so I send a text message. And it got so bad, he put the little we have now on our little phones, we have walkie-talkies. So I could just push the button and talk to him. I don't even have to text anymore. I just push the button and talk. Hey,
But at least you're talking and he can hear the
yeah, he
tone in
can
your
hear me.
voice.
He can hear me.
And see, that's what
Don't
gets me.
judge me.
Babe, you said the key words right there. The tone that you don't get the tone on the text.
No. You
And you
can.
don't well, yeah, you could get
Can.
you can make you yeah, you could.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
I received a text Sunday, and the person she said something, and then the rest of the message was in all caps. She was upset. And the
Whoa.
rest of the message was in all caps, and I put, sorry, Yolanda, LOL, laugh out
I
loud.
know what that
I,
means.
I said, you yelled this entire message. And she said, I sure did.
Wow.
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 Yeah.
And after we walk away from this communication conversation, I just hope that people just understand how important it is because when you go to work, you're not texting with your boss in the office. In the office atmosphere, you go in to have a conversation with your boss. Your boss will call you up and say, "Hey, can you come down? I need to talk to you about something." I don't think he's going to text you what he needs. Now, they may email you. They may email you, but you always have the option of walking down the hallway and say, "Hey, I saw your email. Let me make sure I understand what you're saying." That's what we don't do. We don't go back and understand what the person actually meant by their written communication via text or email. We assume what they're looking for, and then we start going down the path of something that may not have been the way we should have went. When it could have been something that could have been solved and done in minutes, we make it over a week to start dealing with things. And that's where things get haywire. And with all the things, all the tools that we have for communication, we could get on our phone. Back in the day, we couldn't get on the phone when we were out in the road. We had to go to a pay booth, to make a call at what they call them, the telephone booths. You had to put your quarter in, and you had to go make it. Remember those? You remember those?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you get a call on your beeper from your boss, hey, and you go back and hey, you call me, and you're at a payphone because you didn't have a cell phone at that time.
Okay, so but before we have to wrap this up,
Okay.
when you came up with this topic, you
Yeah.
said when you have access to the main source, why do you go to an alternate source? Talking about communication.
Well, I think what I meant it by that was if you and I are having a conversation and I know that you have the answer to it, why do I have to go and ask five other people the same question that I know that you already have the answer for?
Exactly. That's what I
Why?
don't understand is why we go outside, go away from the main person we want to know about to ask how that person is doing or what went on with someone else. That's how gossip gets started. And that's how talk about misunderstandings get started. Instead of going to the main
The
person
main
that you want to
source.
know about, the main source.
Yeah, and then there's sometimes, and I'll do this. I am known for this, and you have complained about it in the past, where I'll ask you your opinion on something, and you will give me your opinion.
Oh, that's this is now. See, you're traveling away from this topic because I know where you're going. Go on down that road, Harris. Now I will call him Harris. Go ahead down the road, Harris.
That's all right. You didn't call
Come
me
on,
big, so I'm
Cletus.
gonna stay away from that one.
No, no, Cletus. Now we want to talk about it. Now we want to talk about
You
it.
you read that communication, didn't you?
Yeah, I
Come
listened to
on,
what she
Cletus.
said.
Come
I
on,
listened.
Cletus. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'm gonna stay away from that one.
No, you can't pique the listeners.
No,
Go
I mean,
ahead.
okay. You know how you are having a thought in your mind of what you want, of how you want to do something. And I need clarification of what my thinking is. That's just the way I'm triggered. So I say, babe, what you think about this? And you may have a totally different look at it. You may think about it totally opposite of the way I was thinking. Now, I'm not asking you to solve it. I just want to know if you're going to if your initial thought is what I would say the same thing that I was thinking. Then my thinking is right, and that makes two of us just like that. We solved it. If you come up with something different, I will say, hmm, that's a different angle. Different. I didn't think about that. But what you don't hear back from me is that my communication back to you didn't tell you why I can't do what you wanted to do. Or sometimes you will. Sometimes you say, "Oh, babe, I can't do that because of this." Then you get to a point if I don't do what you say, if I don't do what she suggested, the next time it comes up, well, you just go ahead. You just go ahead because you got to listen to me anyway. And that's not true. That's not true. But that's the way she takes it because once I ask her opinion, I have to go with it in her mind. But in my mind, when I ask her opinion, I'm looking for, a justification for me to move forward with the way I was thinking if she comes up with the same thing.
If I
And
come up with the same thing.
if you come up with the
So
same
what is being communicated when someone asks you, what do you think about this? And then they go ahead and do what they planned anyway. Okay. If that happens once, if that happens twice, and then maybe the third or fourth time they go with some semblance of the suggestion that you gave.
Mhm.
But if they never pretty much go with what you suggested, my response that I communicate back is
You go ahead.
don't tax my brain because you're not going to take my suggestion anyway.
And that's not true. And that's not true. That's not true. And that's not true. But that's the way it comes out.
Does
That's the
this
way.
happen in your home?
No, I'm always right.
Oh, so it's Reggie's thoughts that don't get listened to.
I'm glad he's not on this episode.
So Yolanda, let me ask you the question then.
Do listen. I do listen, but I also still have my opinion. Go ahead, Mr. Harris. I'm listening.
So has Reggie come to the conclusion that I'm not even gonna say anything in?
Yep, he does that to me too.
There you go. There you go.
And that's when I know when
So
he does
so
that to me, I'll be like, okay, we're not communicating anymore. I'm just talking. So then I scale back and then I was like, we wait a second. I was like, okay, let's talk. Because we women, I mean, I can, let me speak for me. When I'm trying to get my point across, I want to say what I have to say. Then you can tell me what you want to say. But then, that's why we're doing this communication, because sometimes he'll say something and I'll be like, well, that's not what I said. That's just how you took it. And then I have to rewind again and be like, okay, maybe my tone changed the whole conversation. So now I have to change my tone because I know I can give a pretty deep tone when I need to.
keep in mind we're all Tauruses too. So we have a way of we have a way of analyzing things, and we have a response if we're not careful that it can be a response of that the other person can take as it being harsh sometimes. If
Hmm.
I mean, depends on how we started. And I had to learn this. I remember from back in a long time ago that my first response was could be brutal. If and I had to come to the conclusion. And I always say I had to step outside of me to look at what other people see when I respond to things. And I said, "Ooh, that was harsh." And and so in talking about this conversation right here, and everybody listening to what the other person is saying, and we already have our preformed opinions of what we want to do or what we just discussed. We have to be careful. We have to be careful that we don't shut down the other person who we're asking that question to.
Definitely.
I can say to my wife, I value your opinion. I really do. And I want you to know that I value your opinion. I put it out here for the world to hear for the next 100 years if they go to YouTube and see this episode. I value my wife's opinion. Okay, babe?
I love it. I love it. I love it. This was a good communication for our listeners to hear and also for us to even dialogue through. So I think it was pretty good. Sis, I'm gonna let you wind out before I wind us all the way out.
Well, I just want to say clarity prevents confusion. And although we didn't go as deep as I thought we would into the statement that they made about going to the main source
Yeah.
and stop asking John and Karen and whoever the information that you need, go to the person that you want to know about. Go and get, if you want to know the juice, you want to know the dirt, go to the person who's involved in the situation. Or if you want to check on someone, go to that person, pick up a phone and call that person, the source. Don't go to alternate sources because that's where confusion is birthed.
And Yolanda, before you check out, can I add one?
Yes, go ahead.
Go ahead.
We talked about texting, and I'm gonna talk to some of these young people out there. As parents, we text you. We have come to learn that we need to get involved in your way of communication. And you want to communicate to us that way. That's fine. But we text you, please say I got your message. Please say that I got your message. I'll get back to you. Just say something. But these text messages with no response and they act like that, have something really that you need. I'm gonna make sure I'm looking right at the camera. I hope I am. Have something that you really need and we don't respond. How would you feel then?
Woo!
How would you feel then if you really need me and I didn't respond and you couldn't pick up the phone and call? How would you feel? Think about that. Now, Yolanda, you can check us out here.
So we thank you for tuning in to the Elaboration Room with two sisters, and on this episode, two sisters and a husband of one. And we hope that we have given you something else to consider.
And always, we want you to be brave, be strong, and be different. Asking, it will be given unto you. Seeking, you shall find. Knock, and the door shall be opened unto you. Believe in yourself and encourage yourself. But in all things, remember, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. Peace and blessings, our brothers and sisters, as you joined us for this conversation of communication in the Elaboration Room with two sisters of one. We hope to see you again next week. Be blessed.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
The Elaboration Room with two sisters of one. Make sure you like and subscribe and stay tuned for the next episode every Monday at 6 p.m.